Welcome back for episode 7 of the Hitters Meeting on Braves Hip Coil. Today, once again, as per usual, I am joined by Coach Ken. Ken, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. We got the best team in the MLB right now, despite today's loss, which happens a 4-2 homestand. The team is hitting. 80% of them are listening to you. We got another group that we need to listen to you, but this team is really good and they're fun to watch, especially offensively.
Yeah, it's been a blast for the most part watching this team. Look, we're going to go ahead and get into it just because I'm tired of talking about it. You're tired of talking about it, and I'm tired of talking about my favorite player and reading how bad my favorite player is doing and that we shouldn't have given him the contract, yada, yada. I'm just tired of it. So we're going to go ahead and get it out of the way, and we're going to do this as well. So we're going to review our picks to click. Obviously, I had Big Thick. He did not do well. We're going to leave it at that. I'm not even going to say anything because I'm tired of y'all talking crap. If you want to look at the stats, you can go look at them. Ken, you had Mr. Rake Baldham, and he went 3 for 11 this series. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, but it wasn't what it could have been. I thought he had a good matchup, and I thought he swung the bat okay. He had a couple of balls that could have been a little bit better, but we have talked about it before. This was the best starting we're going to see in the series all the month of April, and all three of them pitched well. Even Casey did Tuesday night before he got hurt. Today, Valdez was perfecto, and we were kind of lucky to score 2 runs. But I'll take it. 3 for 11 is respectable, but we all wish we'd have picked Ozzy because Ozzy was the one who had the most solid series.
To be fair, he was my honorable pick to click mention.
He was.
He was my honorable pick to click mention, and did he hit 1 or 2 homers this series? I can't remember.
Too.
Hit Dose, yeah, and I think he had like 5 or 6 hits, drove in some big boy runs. So I will take that from the little monster. And y'all who said he was going to regress, you can suck it. Thank you kindly. All right, we're going to go ahead and dive into Big Thick Austin Riley and what's going on because I know everybody just loves talking crap about him. So, Ken, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me pull up the video that I found today while I was on lunch break today. All right, so here's Big Thick up against Fromber today. All right, so nothing wrong with the setup. Everything looks good. And I'm going to show y'all exactly where things start going wrong. So as you can see, he's loading. Everything looks good. He is striding forward. We're going to stop right here. Everything at the point of contact right here looks really good. What should happen is this back hip back here should turn into the baseball. You should be firing your back hip towards the baseball. Let's see where the back hip goes. It goes straight out the back. This is the problem right here. Your bottom should not be going back because I want y'all to watch his upper body. See how his upper body's kind of nice and tall right here? Once he starts going forward, he bends forward. So what happens? He misses the ball and he is right up under the baseball. That is what's going on with Austin. He is not holding his posture. I'm going to let y'all see it fully in replay just so y'all can see what the whole thing in slow motion. Everything looks good. Bottom starts to go out from under him. He collapses, and he's right underneath the baseball. That's what's going on with Austin Riley. So my recommendations for him, work on your direction. That, to me, is that right there because I've had that problem a lot in my career. Your direction's off. You're pulling off the baseball. In other words, that's how everybody likes to explain it. There's 5,000 ways you can pull off a baseball. His is his hips are getting out from under him. So instead of backing out, you need to focus on driving your hip towards right center field. If you do that, more than likely he's going to stay on the ball. He's going to be able to start hitting the ball again because when he was in Philadelphia, he looked great. And then things started going wrong. So hopefully he can get back in on that. Ken, do you have anything to add on Big Thick Austin Riley?
As a pitching coach, we'd see that hip go out, and we knew exactly how we needed to throw him. And that's the very hard inside, and just anything away you shouldn't be able to get to. I do have a question for you, Mr. Hitting Guru. Grant McCauley brought it up today and said that against left-handers, he's actually staying in and hitting a little bit better than against right-handers. What is he doing to overcompensate against right-handers that's making him to pull off the ball drastically like that.
I think honestly this year he's more comfortable with the ball coming into him. Because think about the only time you have the ball going away from you is a left-hander with a changeup. And I mean, more times than not, they're still going to attack you with the fastball. And I think that's the pitch that Austin's been getting to, or they've been leaving the breaking balls up a little bit, and he's been able to adjust to that. I think the reason why he's having a hard time against right-handers is because they are hard in and then really soft away. And today he struggled against Fromber because Fromber had a really good changeup, and that's what he could not. That's where his hip kind of kicked out on. I watched I think it was his last two at bats today, and you saw it. He stayed perfectly, like his bottom stayed under him really good on that changeup that he ripped down the line that was barely foul. But he's having inconsistencies with that when the ball is soft away. That's the only thing I could think of personally.
I agree with you. That's what I was thinking too. I just wanted to see if you were on the same line. So hopefully we get Austin fixed and quickly, and he'll add a lot of hump to our lineup.
A lineup that is already good, and I think we all need to remember that because this team is 22-10 to begin the season. That's the best start to the season we've had in a long, long time. But we're going to get into the series preview of the Rockies. In game one, Ken, we have the old crafty lefty nowadays and Mr. Jose Quintana. What can you tell me about Mr. Quintana?
Mr. Quintana throws the kitchen sink at you. He can do a lot of stuff. I think what makes him tough is he throws the fastball and the sinker almost identically amount of times. So you have to pick up on that. And then he comes with this curveball and slurve pitch. Depends on which side of the plate he's facing. More slurve against left-handers, more curveball against the right-handed hitters. But when he's on, it's a very difficult pitch. And then just for giggles, he can mix in a changeup. And so he can be very tough. I think for me, and I can't wait to hear your breakdown, I think our hitters have to realize he can't beat us with the fastball. And so just know he can't get it by and be comfortable hitting his off speed because he can't throw it by us. And so if he does, if we miss guess right there and he throws a fastball, we should be able to foul it off and get to another pitch. So that's how I feel. I feel like he's hittable. But, if we don't hit him, it's understandable because he does throw the kitchen sink.
That he does. And going over the repertoire again real quick, he's got a slurve slider, he's got a curve, he's got a change, he's got a sinker, and he's got the four-seam fastball. So let's go ahead and get into it. Left-handers are going to see a heavy dosage of the sinkers inside, so he establishes in with going to the outside part of the plate with the four-seam, slurve, and curveball to tunnel all that together on the outside part of the plate. And again, you can't lean out over the plate because what does he do? He throws the sinker inside to back you right back off. Right-handed hitters are going to see the four-seam established inside, and more times than not, it's going to be up in the zone with the mix of the curveball off of that going back foot and the changeup going the opposite direction down and away in the zone to induce weak contact and swing and miss. So for my lefties, you got to hunt the fastball and slurve window, and if he dots a changeup, you're just going to have to tip your hat if there's two strikes. You can hunt the sinker early in the count if you choose to, but I would be sitting on the outside part of the plate because that's where he's mainly going to live. He will try to play the slurve off the four-seamer like we discussed to get you to chase. So hunt the heater middle away in the zone, and anything with spin breaking away has to start on the inside corner or a little bit off the inside corner for you to even think about offering it. I personally would eliminate his sinker and changeup and hunt that specific window because, again, you cannot cover everything. And if he's only going to bust you inside with the sinker, then the changeup, in my opinion, will be a little bit less effective inside, but it will be pretty effective if he tries to throw it away. But the problem is if he hangs it, that's a very hittable pitch for left-hand hitters to do damage on. So just recognize a hanging changeup and hunt the fastball and slurve. Don't worry about anything inside. If he paints the inside corner, then adjust to that as you need to. But do not expand until he shows you that he can paint it. Right-handed hitters, your approach needs to be hunt the fastball and changeup window. You want the ball to start on the inside to the outer third at the belt. Do not chase anything starting at the knees until He makes you respect his ability to paint the fastball at the bottom of the zone. You still want to think right center field unless the heater is inside. If that is the case, turn and burn. His fastball cannot beat you, so if you're down in the count, don't be afraid to sit back and really think about driving the ball to right field. Ken, that is what I got on Mr. Quintana. Do you have anything else?
No, I think it's spot on. I think you have to let everything below the knees, turning at the knees, let it go. And like you said, I would stay on the fastball changeup as if I'm a right-handed hitter as much as I can, and the left-handers, I would just try to hit middle backside because that'll protect you against that little slurve that he wants to try to throw away from you. So I think it's spot on analysis, and I do like the fact of how our left-handers are hitting right now in the lineup, and I expect them to have a good series.
And the way those guys are swinging, Matt Olson, Drake Baldwin, they are going to have a field day against Mr. Quintana just because, I mean, they're staying so well on the ball and they're adjusting to inside very quickly. They recognize it so fast and they just turn and burn on it when they recognize it. It's been very impressive for those two. But we have their high dollar pitcher. Well, not really high dollar, but their high bid prospect at one time, Mr. Chase Dollander. Ken, what you got on Mr. Chase?
We're going to see gas. He can throw hard, and he throws really well. The interesting part about him is, I think what makes him tricky, you're trying to sit on that four seam, and then he throws that two seam in there, and he gets a lot of ground balls. So he's one that can induce double plays. To be honest with you, the Rockies have had a tough time drafting pitchers, but this one they should have hit on. He's got the stuff to pitch in Coors Field. This is the kind of pitcher that can be successful. If anybody remembers Rivaldo and Menez, same kind of makeup, same kind of stuff. So I think Dollander is going to be a hit for them, and I'm interested to see how we approach him. He throws some off speed, and the thing about his off speed, though, I can't wait to hear about this. He throws them kind of all the similar repertoire or some percentage, but to me, it's all kind of the same. He's trying to do the same thing with it. So I'm going to really just kind of sit on the fastball and kind of spit on some stuff going away from me and just try to drive the ball back through there. He has been tough on us, though. He's had some success, so I'm interested to see how we approach it. But I'm going to hunt the fastball and try to hit it all night.
So let's talk about that repertoire. Fastball that sits upward 90, sometimes touches 100. He's got the sinker that has a really good bit of run that sits, again, upper 90s. He's got a slider, he's got a changeup, and he's got a curveball and a sweeper, but he hasn't quite got the command of it yet. So if I'm a right-handed hitter, because I'm sure that's all he's going to throw it against, I would really just not even consider that pitch unless he throws it and it's an absolute hanger. The interesting thing about Mr. Dollander is both left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters will be seeing the exact same type of pitch sequencing. Dollander likes to establish the fastball up in the zone, and he likes to tunnel his breaking balls and changeup off of that, meaning he's going to establish high with the fastball, and then he's going to try to get you to chase below the zone or off of the plate with his breaking balls and changeups. So, for me personally, I took it a little bit different. I didn't have the righties and lefties having the same approach. I took the left-handers because the slider's breaking in. I don't think you need to hunt that window because I think you're going to recognize the spin as a lefty coming into you more than you would as a righty if it was going away. So left-handed hitters, hunt the fastball and changeup window. You want the ball to start around the belly button or belt, and you want it on the outer third to the middle part of the plate. This will keep you on the fastball and changeup in the strike zone while also being able to recognize that spin on the slider if it's a hanger, because if it's a hanger, it's going to pop out of his hand and you can read the spin really, really well. That's why I want my lefties to hunt that window, because I don't want them chasing the slider down and in off of the plate. I want them chasing the one that's going to be up and in the middle of the zone that they can crush. Right-handed hitters, you're going to have to hunt the fastball slider because he is going to absolutely wear you out on the outside part of the plate. You want the ball to try to start inner third, but he's more than likely going to go. He's going to live on the outside corner, so you got to expand to the outside part of the plate. I would say outer third, and you want it thigh to belt high. You got to make him paint the outside corner before you even think about expanding your zone any further than the outer third, because his slider does have really good break. I think even outer third may be pushing a little bit, but you got to get to the fastball out over the middle of the plate. So you got to give a little bit to get a little bit, in my opinion. Ken, that's what I got on Mr. Dollander. What you got?
Spot on. Like I said, you want to sit fastball here, and if it starts going away from you, you can spit on it a little bit, unless you got two strikes and you try to foul it off. To me, he always wants to get you out with something going away from you. Again, our left-handed hitters are doing a good job of that, driving the ball backside. So, as I said in the previous guy, I can see our left-handed hitters having a very good series here if they stay the way they're hitting right now. Um, Not to try to toot him up, but we know where everybody wants to bury him. This is the kind of guy, if Austin was said he can actually hit this guy because he's going to have stuff coming at him, which Austin kind of wants right now. So, and then we're going to talk about the next guy in three. These are two guys that Austin maybe can do some stuff against. So we'll see. But let's face it, this is to me going to be the toughest of the three right in the middle. And so the good thing going for us is we're going to throw our ace in that game. And that's worked for us now twice. We've talked about the middle guy being the best pitcher, but we're sending our best pitcher so our offense can put 3 or 4 runs on the board. We should be in good shape Saturday.
And let me remind everybody, we put runs on the board against Scooble. So at this point, there's not a pitcher that we're going to face that's going to be any more tougher than Tariq Scooble or the pitching staff that we faced against Detroit. So our lineup's good, and they're going to hit the pitchers, man. And it's the one thing that I think is really that will really play a key for Dollander against right-handers is if he can front door that sinker. If he can hit the outside corner with that sinker where it starts off the plate and comes right back on, because then as a right-handed hitter, you're like, oh crap, he's painting the outside corner with that. Now I got to look to expand my strike zone. And that opens up a whole nother tunnel if he wants to throw a slider off of the tunnel with the sinker. So hopefully he doesn't have command of the sinker, because if he does, it could be a really long day for our right-handed hitters against him. But we're going to move on to game number 3, Ken, and this is the old crafty lefty again, Mr. Kyle Freeland. What you got on him?
He's one of my favorite pitchers in the game that nobody knows. I like Kyle. I think he's a bulldog, and he'd be a kind of guy that I wouldn't mind in the Braves rotation as a number 5. He throws good stuff. We talked about how throwing the kitchen sink. Well, this guy throws the kitchen sink because he don't have a pitch. I don't think he throws more than a third of the time. So you're going to see everything. He has a weird kind of knuckle curve that he tries to keep hitters off balance with. He has a decent enough fastball. I think it sits around in the low 90s. He's going to try to get you out with the sweeper. I don't know what he calls it. The slider, sweeper, whatever he wants to call it. But he's kind of funny. He's one of those, kind of like a little bit of our Holmes. He's very hittable the second time through the lineup. So let's see how he is and be ready to hit him. And just because he might get us out the first time doesn't mean we won't hit him the second time through. So he's one of my favorite pitchers to watch pitch that nobody really knows about. And so I'm interested to see what you got to say about him.
Yeah, he's kind of reinvented himself a little bit, Ken, because he was a big sinker guy the last couple of years. So this year he's sitting more of that 4-seamer, and the sweeper that he's got is new. So he's been using that a ton, and that seems to be working for him a little bit because he's off to a pretty good start this year. So with that being said, his repertoire is a 4-seam, knuckle curve/curve, slider, sweeper, changeup, cutter. And he does have a sinker, but I will say he has severely cut the usage of that pitch down. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Left-handers are going to see primarily fastball sweeper, so you got to hunt that window. The sweeper breaks a lot, so if you read the spin and it didn't start on the inside corner or a little bit off the plate inside, it's going to be a ball, so you got to spit on it. If it's a fastball out over the plate and you recognize it, then you should be able to smash it. So don't chase the sweepers off the plate. Make sure you bring him in the zone with that pitch, and you should have a lot of success. So lefties, make sure he stays in the zone. He's going to try to get you to chase. That's how he's going to get you out. You got to make sure that you stay disciplined and make sure that you bring him into the zone, because if he's in the zone, he's going to be hittable. If you just watch that highlight reel, every single strikeout that he had wasn't on the pitch on the inside on the strike zone. It was all down and out of the zone. Right-handed hitters, you're going to see more of the kitchen sink, but he wants to live on the outside part of the plate. So right-handed hitters, you're going to get the kitchen sink, but he wants to live on the outside part of the zone. So don't chase the breaking stuff off the zone inside. You got to hunt the fastball changeup window, and you got to spit on the spin until you get to 2 strikes, unless it's an obvious hanger out over the middle of the plate. I would even choke the plate if I were you. I would get up on the plate because that's going to make it uncomfortable for him to try to land a pitch on the inside corner. And if he throws a back foot breaking ball, there's a higher chance that it's going to hit you. You want to see the ball start high or to the belt, so about thigh high to the belt, inner third to outer third, so you got a pretty wide range. Make him paint the corners and bottom of the zone before you expand down there. So you want to see the ball up, and you want to make sure the breaking balls and changeups are in the strike zone and offer at those, and you want to lay off the stuff down below the zone. And the way you do that is don't chase the fastball that's down there. Make sure he can paint that before you even think about offering. Ken, that's what I got on Mr. Freeland. You got anything else?
No, go watch a lot of Paul Goldschmidt and Christian Walker videos because they tend to own Kyle Freeland. So whatever they're doing, give Paul a call and use that as part of your hitting video. So I think we'll hit him. I think we'll hit him Sunday, and it'll be exciting to see Spencer on the mound for us. So tune in Sunday. It should be a fun game. And like I said, if we don't get him the first time through, he tends to struggle the second time through. He's having a good year, like you said. So, and take a look at him because if it gets down to the trade deadline, he would be one of the guys that could be mentioned to us. So, I'm a big Kyle Freeland fan, so I'm excited for Sunday.
All right. Well, now we got the bullpen. So there are 2 better relievers for right-handed. We didn't really see the left-handed option that really stuck out, so we stuck with the 2 righties this go around. So the first one is Jaden Hill, and I personally think this kid's better than their closer. Personally, Cam, but what do you got on him?
I personally think he has the better stuff. He is difficult. He can gear it up. And think of a right-handed Dylan Lee who can throw a little harder. This is kind of what you're getting. He can really throw the slider. He's got a little of his name just went out of me that pitched for the Yankees. Why is his name going out of me? He's got a little bit of that going. Stroman. He's got a little bit of Stroman in and from the mound. But that's the pitch you just saw in the video that can be really that backdoor pitch. You got to stay on his pitches because he will backdoor you and throw stuff. I think he's got a great arm, and he's the toughest ride to me out of their bullpen. He kind of pitches backwards too. He'll start you slider, and then he'll gear up the fastball to get it by you. So let's try to make sure that we're ahead when he comes in because he could be a tough ride.
Yeah, Ken, I'm not going to lie to you. I spent about 20 minutes trying to figure out a game plan against this guy because he is nasty, and we're about to dive on into it. So he's got a slider, a sinker, and a four seam. The sinker and four seam play upper 90s, maybe touches 100 here and there. And then, oh yeah, by the way, he has a changeup that sits he sits high 80s, low 90s with that pitch as well. So, and again, kind of like with Dollander, man, he uses all of his pitches to both sides of the plate. And what he really does well is that high rising fastball that sits 98, 99, 100. He attacks the top of the zone with it. He don't even fool around with the bottom of the zone with his fastball. He stays up there because of how hard it is. So you're going to see 50% fastball, 50% off speed. Doesn't matter what side of the plate you were standing on. Left-handed hitters seem to have a little bit more changeups coming at them, while righties get a little bit more sliders. I think that's kind of typical. So left-handers, you got to hunt the fastball changeup window, but this is not going to be easy. You want the ball up, but you don't want to chase it above the zone. So what you got to do is you got to say, all right, at the belt is the limit. If that ball starts at the belt, I'm going, but if it starts coming up, then you got to leave it alone. So you can't chase the fastball up, and you want to see the ball belt high, inner third to outer third of the plate. I think more so for me, you want that ball out over the plate more because it's a whole lot easier to catch 99 out on the outside part of the plate than it is the inside part of the plate. Right-handed hitters, you're going to have to hunt the fastball slider window. You want the ball to start, again, around the belt from the inner third to the outer third of the plate. His slider does not break a ton horizontally. It's got a lot of tight spin, and it resembles his fastball a lot, which is why it's really hard to recognize. So instead of it breaking a lot, it's going to go really, really fast and break really, really late, but it's really quick. So for me, the biggest key is do not expand to the corners or up in the strike zone. Again, you got to keep that fastball in the zone because he's going to pound the upper part of the zone. Make sure you keep him in the upper part of the zone and don't go above it. And then you got to read the slider off of that, which is going to be a really tough task. And if he dots a changeup on you, you tip your hat, you go back to the dugout because you cannot cover everything against this guy. You got to pick a window and you got to hunt those two pitches. Ken, you got anything else to add on him?
Spot on. This is Jaden Hill. He's going to be a tough ride, and just going to have to be looking. You really need to hit the fastball and understand you can't change off the fastball because he will be late in the count and work you backwards, and by the time you don't think he's going to go in there and throw it 96, 97 and strike you out or be late on it. So I think it's spot on analysis. If it wasn't against us, I'd be really looking forward to seeing Jaden pitch this weekend.
Yeah, and the bad part is for lefties who are going to be hunting that fastball changeup window. If you do see the slider pop out of his hand, and he's trying to backdoor it, so don't give up on that pitch either. Righties, he may throw the changeup, but he's going to live and die with the fastball slider combo to you guys, in my opinion. And I don't know if you guys realize it or not, but it is really hard to not expand the zone up when somebody's chasing 99. And, oh, yeah, by the way, that's the area you're looking for because that's the area that he stays at 80% of the time. So it's going to be a really tough ride against that guy. The next reliever is a former Braves top prospect, Victor Vodnik. Ken, what do you have on Mr. Vodnik?
Throws hard. He throws a lot of fastballs, and his fastballs are always up here. And he swings and stuff. What makes him difficult, though, is he goes hard, he goes hard, he goes hard, and then he throws this unhittable changeup. So I just watched in the video there that Oakland Athletic, you cannot not sit on the fastball. To me, when you face these closers at the end of the game, I would do the same thing against Suarez, another tough, same kind of stuff. You just got to sit dead red, and you got to try to hit the ball middle backside. Do not try to pull Victor Vodnik. Let him generate the power. Look here, Coors is a huge outfield. We hit the ball in the gaps a couple of times. That's going to be a run. And with our speed, we may have some guys hit some triples. But if we try to pull this guy, in my opinion, if we try to pull him, we're going to set ourselves up for that changeup, and we will not hit him. So we got to sit hard and try to hit the ball backside the whole time. And being a former Brave, it kind of breaks my heart a little bit that he's out in Colorado. And another name, as I mentioned, Freeland, going forward at the trade deadline. Keep an eye on Victor Vodnik coming back to the Braves. So that's my take on him. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, so Victor is, and I'm not saying he's easy to hit, Chad. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I'd rather face Victor than Mr. Hill because Victor is going to attack one quadrant, and that is going to be the outside part of the plate. Whether it's right-handers or left-handers, that is where he's going to live with his fastball that can reach up to 99 to 100 miles an hour. He's got a slider, and he's got a changeup. He uses a sinker here and there to occasionally mix in and induce ground balls, but it's not one of his go-to pitches. So, like I said, he lives on the outside part of the plate. Left-handers are going to see primarily fastball changeup with an occasional slider mixed in there. Right-handers will see the fastball slider mainly with the occasional changeup every once in a while. So, lefties, you got to hunt the fastball changeup window. You want to see the ball on the outer third of the plate, and you want it to start around the belt to, I would say, about upper thigh. That would be the ideal starting point because even if his changeup drops, it's going to be in the bottom of the zone. But if it starts at the knees, you got to let it go. If it starts even mid-thigh, low thigh, you got to let it go as well just because you can't – there's no sense in swinging at a changeup down or a fastball down there because then he's going to start trying to place the changeup. I would make him paint the bottom part of the zone before I would even think about offering that. And the probability of him painting the bottom zone is not very likely. So you're going to get a pitch up. It's just going to be up to you to make sure it's in the zone and hit it. Right-handed hitters, you're going to see the fastball slider, so hunt that window. The ball should start on the inner third to the middle part of the plate, thigh high to belt high. Again, he lives on the outside part of the plate, so you got to look to drive the ball to right center field. I would, if he throws anything inside completely in there, even if it's a slider, that would be the one that you got to hunt. So if it pops out of the hand, that's going to be the hanger. Anything that starts outside corner, you just got to spit on because there's no sense in you wasting a swing when it might be a slider that's going to break off the plate. So make him paint the outside corner, but anything middle in, that ball is yours, and you gotta let that thing rip. Ken, you got anything else on Mr. Vodnik?
No, I think that's spot on. I'm looking forward to seeing him pitch this weekend. Hopefully it'll be in a game where we're up and they're just trying to keep it close. So, and again, I wouldn't mind him coming back to the Braves at some point.
I mean, if we're going to you might as well just throw Mr. Hill in there, if you will, Rockies, please, because that dude's nasty. But that is what we got on the relievers and the starting pitchers for the Rocky Series chat. Ken, I think the last thing we really got to do is take a pick to click. So who are you going to go with this series in Colorado?
Who's my favorite Brave?
You're going Matty O.
I'm going Matty O. I think this is a good matchup. He keeps his hands back against Katana, so I can see him hitting Katana. I like the fact that he can hit Dolander by going the opposite way. I think he can attack Freeland when Freeland tries to come inside with a fastball. He's the one guy that against Vodnik, I think, and he sets up good with because he can sit the ball the other way. And we talked about it on the podcast. Me and Ben was on the podcast tonight. He's in a really good place. You don't see any frustration at all. He struck out today, and he just kind of gave it a ho-hum, like, okay. And he's in a great place mentally, and I expect him to have a huge series this weekend. And I know he's not going to win the MVP because of the bias toward the unicorn, which is understandable. He's a great player. But so I always consider the guy who finishes second the real MVP of the National League, and I think that will be Matt Olson by the end of the year.
Never a bad pick to go with Matt Olson. I will say that. So,
you going to run the roulette wheel again?
Running the roulette wheel again, Ken. We're going big, thick Austin Riley. I'm going with him until he breaks out of his slump. I don't give a crap what you say, chat. That's my dude. Every one of us has a dude. He's my dude. I'm going with my dude. But I will say, look, we're just going to say Austin Riley's the go-to from now on until he breaks out of it. So I'm going with him regardless. But I am going to say I'm throwing one more name in there. It's going to be Ozzie Albies. I know. I picked him. I picked him last time. He's facing two lefties, and he's absolutely killing the ball. And now he's going to Colorado where the ball just flies. I could see Ozzie having a few more homers this series. So those are my picks to click. Any final thoughts, Ken?
The biggest final thought is I wish Sean Murphy was coming back one series early because he usually rakes in Colorado, but we'll get him in Seattle. I know this is a hitting show, but I'm excited to see the pitching matchups in this series, and I'm excited to see Spencer come. And I will say this about the Braves offense. It's the best offense I've seen the Braves have, and I even like this offense better than 2023 because we're not relying on just the home run. And I think that all Braves fans that are complaining on Twitter, just take a deep breath and enjoy this offense because it looks like it's going to be special this year.
I 100% agree. Stop freaking out over the few guys that are struggling, please, for the love of God. And it's not only because one of them is my favorite player. It is because we have not had a good offense or a good team realistically in 2 years. So can we all just chill out and enjoy good baseball again, please? Can we do that? I got nothing else to add to that, Ken. We are done.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.